What's up, my bearded bros? Bearded Maniac here with a NBA free agency video. I guess you could call it that. What we're going to do today is we're going to discuss some of the rumors, and with free agency coming up in the NBA, we're going to discuss where we think some of the biggest stars might go. People like Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and stuff like that. And as you can see, we have the Clippers v Pelicans here for a reason. One of my first thoughts right off the bat is that Chris Paul is opting out of his contract, and where will he go? I'm thinking that an underdog for Chris Paul's services will be the New Orleans Pelicans, because they have Anthony Davis and they have DeMarcus Cousins, but they have Drew Holiday, but he's also a free agent, stuff like that. They could really use Chris Paul as a really solid leader, as a guy who can facilitate, because he's so good at facilitating and stuff like that. You also have Blake Griffin, power forward. You got a lot of people going after that. Maybe the Denver Nuggets go after him, get him. Maybe the Celtics go crazy and try to get him. Gordon Hayward's going to be a free agent. No knowing where he's going to go. But recently there's been trade talks before the draft of the Cavs trying to swing a three-team trade. Now, the details of this trade are the Cavs would send Kevin Love to the Denver Nuggets. The Pacers would send Paul George to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, if they did that, that would keep Paul George probably at small forward, and then it would probably move LeBron permanently to power forward, which would be interesting. And it would send a couple of young stars from the Nuggets to Indiana to help them rebuild. Well, maybe a draft pick or two, which I completely agree with, because that would probably be the smartest idea for Indiana, because Paul George is not gonna re-sign. There's no way. They were contending, and they just did nothing to help him. So I think he's given up on that team. Now, there are a couple of other trades I could see happening. I mean, Butler already went to Minnesota in to me, a blockbuster trade, because now you have Ricky Rubio, Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins on the same team. Only problem with that is next year Karl Anthony Towns is due a monster contract. And this year coming, Andrew Wiggins is due a monster contract. So you have to try to chase after the title as soon as you can, because your young core might get moved, or they could pay the luxury tax. There's always that option. But there are rumors going around. Durant and Curry are most likely staying in Golden State, probably taking less than what they could. Dirk's options being declined by the Mavs, hoping that he signs a contract with them anyway. But could there be a surprise team going after Dirk Nowitzki just to try to get that veteran presence on their team? I don't know. Personally, I would like to see the Celtics going after a center. So maybe if Blake Griffin and Chris Paul leave the Clippers, they go into rebuild mode and they trade DeAndre Jordan to the Boston Celtics for maybe a Jaylen Brown and a couple draft picks, because to me that would move the roster would probably look like Isaiah Thomas, maybe Avery Bradley, maybe Gordon Hayward if they can get him, then Al Horford at power forward where he wants to play, and DeAndre at center. And then you can still have Al Horford playing center minutes, just not as much as you normally would, which is what he prefers, which is probably the best, because you don't want him to be mad and have him leaving when the first chance he can get. Also, you have the Cavs, who are making a push for anybody they can. They're trying for Paul George. What happens if they can't get Paul George? Well, they have to think of something. So might they do a sign and trade? And what I mean by that is they won't be signing anybody. Would they be tempted to, whoever signs Gordon Hayward, to try to trade them Kevin Love? because Paul George is really, really good. He's a great scorer, but Hayward's also extremely good too. That would be interesting news. But personally, out of all these rumors and speculations and free agents, as we get closer, the guy I'm keeping an eye on is obviously Chris Paul. Because Steph Curry's the best point guard on the free agent market, but he's going to Golden State unless some miracle happens. And there are a lot of teams out there who could use a really good point guard. Could Minnesota try to upgrade on Ricky Rubio? Also, is Chicago going to dump the options and buy out Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo? Are the Knicks going to try to buy out Carmelo Anthony? Are they going to try to trade Kristaps Porzingis? There's a lot of things interesting happening on this free agency market. A lot more than last year. So stay tuned, guys. Comment down below what you think is personally going to happen. Because, as you can see here, if the Pelicans are going to contend, they need a star small forward and a star point guard to help out. So, to end the video, would it be possible, let me know, if maybe they can somehow convince Hayward or another small forward of that kind of caliber and Chris Paul to come over, because that would be an insane roster. You got the facilitating powers of Chris Paul, you have the board presence of Davis and Cousins, and then you have the outside scoring presence of Gordon Hayward. That would be a pretty dominant team, and I'd probably put them in the top 4 seeds of the West, depending on how the Timberwolves do. And also, I'm very happy to see Jimmy Butler reunite with his old coach Tom Thibodeau. That's something he severely needed, because he was not getting the help he needed in Chicago. Anyway, guys, if you like any of these speculations, or if you want to put your own speculation down in the comment section down below, let me know. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.